I've been loving what I'm seeing, and we got Maurice here now, so I'm gonna let him take the mic. This is his expertise, and I'll just be listening to you guys hash it out. Can't wait to hear what you guys say.
What's up,
Hey, what's
Murray?
going on, Drew? All right. So officially just wanted to say thank you everybody who's listening in to the YouTube live stream. Really cool to have the chance to get Drew in here to break down what he's been building and working on for almost about 20 months now since I first kind of heard the idea of Amino pop into the space. And it was kind of initially kind of formulated on the back end of that move to earn craze that was there, but you evaluated the market, and like you said in another video so eloquently for with Crypto R Us, you had the chance to really pause and see where that kind of played out, and you were able to evolve into what I would say is a phenomenal overall ecosystem.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks for all the kind words and the interest in our project and liking the concept. I think you'll like it a lot more once you really hear from me how everything works and how much preparation and planning and actual vision and path to making this a top crypto. I mean, a lot of people throw that around and say, "Oh, we're going to be top 100 crypto by market cap or whatever." But I think that if you really think seriously about it, there is a very clear path to do that here with the types of names that we're associating with. So, yeah, my name's Andrew. I'm a 30-year-old entrepreneur from Toronto, Canada. I like to pride myself that I'm a lot different than your average kind of dev that you see in these projects. I mean, a lot of kids behind computer screens, you don't really know who you're dealing with. Meanwhile, I'm not just fully doxed, but I mean, I have a track record with a lot of investors in the space who can vouch for me. A lot of the big influencers can vouch also that, like, I've always tried to act ethically. I mean, it doesn't, sometimes it gets tough in this crazy space that we're in, and I'll get into it shortly. But I mean, I did start in what I would call the shitcoin space. I'm not really ashamed of it. It's just how it happened. I mean, I got into crypto because my friends were trading Safe Moon and Bonfire and these total junk coins that went to hundreds of millions market cap, and that's just how I got into it. That's what piqued my interest. I wasn't super early to Bitcoin or ETH. I got into it by seeing how much money my friends were making trading the memes. So I hopped in, started trading myself, and that's how I saw how the money was moving within the industry. I made my own call channel. I started helping projects on the dev side, and a lot of things that I'm not proud of that I helped with, but I didn't know better at the time. I was, it's always a learning experience. Like, it's one thing, in my opinion, to start on that side and promote meme coins and invest in them and try to help teams and do marketing and continuously do it after you realize it doesn't work. It's a whole other thing to learn from the experience, make things right with the investors who got burned on some of the things that didn't last, and keep evolving and actually building something really cool in the end and just sticking with them. So, like, the first meme coin I ever helped launch, I'm still working on today in the background, and have stuck with those investors while every other team member is long gone, and I'm putting my own money in as a passion project. So hope that kind of shows the type of person I am in the space. I care a lot about the personal relationships. I'm always one to get on the phone with a potential holder, introduce myself, take the time to give them personal insight into what I'm doing, answer all their questions, and I've developed a lot of really strong relationships with these investors, and it's much more than just them being holders. Like, we're good friends with a lot of them, and it builds a whole new level of trust for this type of stuff. So, yeah, I'm a conventional tech entrepreneur. I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. When I first, in university, I stopped going to class and realized I'm not going to be applying for a job, and started my first company called drafters.com, which I co-founded. It's like a real money fantasy sports platform. Always had huge potential. We thought it was going to be hundreds of millions exit, and we were kind of like a third, fourth in the marketplace behind DraftKings and FanDuel, and had a really loyal player base. But still exited the company for 8 figures, but it was never like that huge exit that put me on the map. But learned a lot of invaluable experience doing that. So I've taken a lot of what I learned there and some of my connections and brought it into blockchain. And as I learned through the memes and stuff, now I'm just fully sold on how good blockchain tech is, especially coming from the online gaming space. there's no reason for credit card processing. If you look at Stake and Rollbit, right now they're seen as crypto casinos, but it's not going to be the case soon. Like Bet365 and every big sportsbook casino will just be taking crypto payments because they'll need that option to keep up. And a lot of these big companies are going to start integrating blockchain tech in the back end and won't even be seen as crypto companies. Just all of your Fortune 500 companies will have some blockchain component on their platform. One day for sure, Amazon is going to accept crypto. Like it's just the way we're going as it becomes
Yeah,
as a
speaking of stake, they need to allow some of that in Ontario. It's really killing us over here.
It works for me for some reason. I don't know what I'm doing, but I placed a bet for tonight's game on Stake. I don't know if I have like a VPN running somewhere that I don't even realize, or I think there is a stake.ca, but it works.
Yeah, there is a stake.ca, but I think the .com one, for whatever reason, some of the handicappers I follow, you can only place bets through the .com. So being in Canada, you just get a little bit shafted. But anyways, I didn't want to get too far off tangent.
Let me talk a bit about the history of this project specifically. So
Perfect.
that's a bit about my past. Like, very serious entrepreneur, have gone through it all, made all the mistakes. Nothing to do with crypto. I mean, learned how to finance, market, run operations, deal with investors there, see a product through, actually onboard users, and exit the company. So that's some experience that I think most of these crypto devs just don't have any of it. They're just like really thinking short term. And I used to think short term too in crypto. I used to try to do everything, like really watch the charts and try to save the price and stuff. But I'm pretty seasoned at this point and just kind of know how to think long term. And but yeah, so Amino started when we saw the move to EarnCraze. I was coming off like helping with a few big launches and still kind of in the hype phase and hadn't really fully learned like what it takes to have a long-term successful crypto project. And it couldn't be ignored how well StepN and the other move to earn apps were doing and all the clones. And I thought I could do a good job because I had like celebrity connections. I'd already worked on some of the other coins with like Mike Tyson, Jake Paul, Tyga, like some other. I was very good at getting them to help promote. So I got Rob Gronkowski, like former NFL player, just pretty well liked celebrity, had connections to some other guys, and we were going to do our own move to earn and raised a private sale, filled in one night, couple $1 million, would have been good, like would have been a pump and dump. And not even intentionally, like I would have given it my all, but it was doomed from the start because the model was so bad. Move to earn does not work on its own, and we've learned this, especially like having a dual token system where one's a rewards token and selling NFTs. It literally just doesn't work. And people would have been happy for a couple of weeks. It would have been all fun. Everyone's hyped. Influencers are saying, "Oh, is this the next big thing?" But then you hit the point where you need to make revenue and put it back into the business or show something actually promising. And we wouldn't have got there with the move to earn. So I started to realize I didn't want to do it and do some. I saw an opportunity to actually do something big and in the sports, fitness, health space, and pivoted to a full customer loyalty program that uses blockchain tech. And the turning point for me was my eventual co-founder in this, who works more behind the scenes. He's not involved with the community. Like I handle everything related to the token, but he's allowed us to get a lot of these connections on the loyalty side. That's his area of expertise. And getting a name like that, like his name's Bruce Silkoff. He's super reputable, has run loyalty programs for a lot of the big banks in Canada, like RBC and TD and stuff. Like all of their loyalty programs with their credit cards, it's all, he powered all the catalogs and just has every connection in the book. So getting a name like that, I realized we had an opportunity to do something bigger here. I took a ton of heat. Like even Caesar, I'm sure, like was one of the early guys who, I think Landon's just like, yo, this Amino is going to be sick. Put some money in, and he just put in a max bag and just had to trust all this time. I'm sure there were along the way a lot of time he doubted, like, is this thing ever going to launch? What's going on here? And I took so much heat, but I knew I just knew like this is my life. I started to put everything on the line for this, which we'll get into, and I'll tell the story of some of these deals and how they happened, and you'll realize how much I put on the line for this. And I just knew, like, this is my whole life. To other people, maybe it is a lot of money. I don't take that lightly that they invested their money, but I mean, it's just another investment for them. For me, this is something I need to make work and can really put me on the map as an entrepreneur. And by doing this properly, I'm helping the investors too, because it's actually going to give something that's long-term sustainable that everyone can win instead of just a pump and dump, which most of these projects don't last more than a week. So it's really built for long-term sustainability, and I'm really happy and proud of myself for delaying and doing it properly and building a real business first. And it definitely paid off, as you saw with our launch. I mean, tons of big names who most of these meme coins and weak utility coins could only dream of getting to even look at their project. I mean, if I look through my DMs from 2 years ago, I had reached out to a lot of these guys and been like, hey, like, can you help us promote some of the, I won't name them, but just other tokens that I've helped with in the past, and I couldn't even get an answer. And now they're all investing in Amino and supporting and joining the spaces and saying they're super bullish on it. So just come a really long way.
Yeah, no, and it speaks to your kind of like entrepreneurial spirit in that sense as well, because I do respect how hard, and if you've ever listened to an AMA of mine or some of my spaces, you'll hear me say, Drew, like I would not want to be on the other side because I know how sometimes thankless the job is. And like you said, you made the decision to delay because it's beneficial long term for the project and for everybody involved, the brand and everything. But at the time, people maybe don't see the vision. So I just got to give you a lot of respect on that side. And speaking of the first kind of arm of your business, like you guys have been able to develop not only an app that looks like it can be potentially sustainable long term, but one that's super easy to use. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what's gone into some of the tech and the building within the Amino Move application, which you guys were able to get over 100K signups pre-token launch, which, I mean, congrats on that. But you have to have something good. You can't just market anything to get that result, right? So I wanted to go more so into your actual application and some of the things you're building out on that first arm.
So for last thing on the pre-launch stuff, with the private sale, I did offer refunds to everyone. So I didn't hold anyone's money hostage, which is an important thing. Like if someone didn't want to wait, that option was always available to them. We processed over 500,000 in refunds. They're probably not too happy now, especially the ones who did it towards the end, but that was always available to them. So it's not like I held people's money hostage without them having an opportunity for 2 years. So that just settles that part. Yeah, just to correct you, we had over 2.5 million signups on our Move app before launch. That 150K was the daily active user number checking in. To get that, there are we did this referral program to just earn some tokens, and I think some people definitely overestimated how much they would be worth, but I always knew like it had to be a small amount, and the spirit of this app was to make it fun. Shopping had to be the source of the big rewards so that it's linked to revenue and sustainable. But yeah, a lot of duplicates in there for sure, and we tried to keep the sign up very simple, Web 2 based. You didn't need to KYC or connect a wallet. You just sign up with your email, and that's that. But huge traction, and that helped us get a lot of the retailers and investors like to do this company properly. And this was a big change I made when I delayed. I went and raised an equity round for no tokens. So basically, I took all the team tokens and treasury tokens and I put it into the company and added a long cliff, so it's very long term, and no team member has their own tokens, no equity investor has their own tokens. It's all together as part of the company. No one has secret bags where they sell and one team member gets pissed or something. It's just all together, same team. But I raised a multi-million-dollar equity round to go and make these deals and build this out, which really benefits all the token holders because we have that money to build and execute without having to sell more tokens, which is a big flaw of a lot of these cryptos is they spend all their marketing money, they spend aggressively. They either have a tax on the token, which does hurt long term. I mean, we're seeing it work on a lot of projects now. There is a part of me that wishes we had a tax, but our plan was always to be like a true ERC20, then go multi-chain and just zero tax, built to list on big exchanges and have a sustainable business and raise equity to fund this.
Yeah, and I wanted to kind of go into the actual earning side. Now, with the application, what types of I guess payouts are people looking at? Like, is there a daily, weekly cap? Is it only earnable via challenges and participation in specific events within the app? Like, how are people able to monetize it? But then on the project and the business side, what safeguards do you guys have in place to make sure it is sustainable and you guys can really scale those users?
Yeah, that's like the billion-dollar question is how we've modeled this out. So first things first, Move app rewards are very sustainable. I accept that they're a marketing expense. Kept them very small on purpose because we have so many people earning them. Like you can't have people expecting that they're going to make real money for walking and running. It's just that would just kill the project, right? So they're earning like in the best case, like a couple cents a day. There are ways that if you become a holder that we're introducing, you can stake your Amino tokens and upgrade your loyalty tier so that it benefits the project too, because you're a holder and that holders are most important, obviously, because they fund the earners. But yeah, it's a very small amount from the Move app. You can just daily check-in just for coming to the app every day. You get 5 tokens. You can earn up to 40 a day for doing your 10,000 steps if you have a streak. You can do the running challenge once a day, which if you do the fastest one, you can get 20 ammo. So you can earn like 80 ammo a day, more or less. There's more ways we're introducing also to up it, but it's just an amount that like everyone who's maybe disappointed with how much they earned has to realize like this is not a mining project. It's not a new chain that raises money specifically to distribute to people for awareness or to miners. It's a fun fitness app, and you have to multiply what you earn by 2.5 million people, and then you'll realize that it had to be this way. And I think people are starting to realize that now. A lot of the people who were complaining and very vocal around the launch when they saw the listing price also were like 12x the listing price right now. So right away at 12x what they had earned, and then also we're introducing the loyalty staking. So that's the idea there. The way that this all works, so we accept the Move app rewards as a marketing expense. I don't need to make revenue for that because we've raised equity. It's fine. We have a big buyback wallet from the launch when we did have a tax. Like we can easily eat that, and it benefits the project too to turn all these earners into community members and get that engagement. Plus, there's value in the users if we can convert them to shoppers. But I linked all the major rewards to shopping. Like that's where you can spend $1,000 and earn $100 in rewards, which if there was no matching revenue to buy back the token, that would really hurt the project if you have people selling 50, $100 just from free rewards. But the thing that makes this work is in order to pay that out, we're earning 200 on the revenue side. So we can just buy it back. And that's how we're sustainable. We do open market buybacks of whatever rewards we give out from shopping.
Okay, so it becomes like that cyclical effect, and you guys can sustain it even as you scale the number of users. Because even on like 100K, say like 100K users are, maxing their daily 80, like you're getting 8 million tokens going out every day, right? So you have to be able to offset that, and I mean 100K is kind of at the low end, like from what your vision is. So, yeah, no, that makes sense. Now,
One thing to add,
of
if we keep growing, I feel like people get mad when you change things, but changing things is a good thing on a project like this. Like if you have to keep everything the same always, you're gonna probably fail. Like you have to be constantly adapting and monitoring the market, seeing the effect on your token and economy, and making changes. It's the only way to get there long term. I mean, what business nails it right on the first try and just comes up with the perfect model? And you have to be able to accommodate for that growth. What happens if we do, like, we have a big problem with the 49ers coming up? What happens if that goes viral, or we bring in a new ambassador and he signs up 5 million people? And then all of a sudden we've tripled our earnings and it is taking a toll on the project. Then, of course, we're going to have to lower rewards or go to a different model where it's like we're prepared to give out 1 million tokens a day in total rewards and it's split up by everyone who accomplishes the goal. Like, going to constantly be monitoring. Nothing is ever set in stone except for the fact that we'll always be here and trying and delivering, and we've already done that, but nothing with tokenomics or earning mechanisms can ever be set in stone.
Yeah, no, that I like that pooled approach that you kind of just mentioned there as well. I think that's a really good offset to growth. So no, really smart that you guys are already kicking around some of those ideas and have played out different scenarios as you scale in the future there, Drew. Now, yeah, because like even if I just did like the weekly math at 100K users, right? That's 56 million tokens that would be going outbound, 7 days at 8 million a day, right? So like, yeah, like you have to make sure you can offset that. And I guess for me, it brings me to my next question, which kind of pairs on the Amino move with the ammo token, but it's more so geared towards the shopping side. Um, when is that like? When are you guys going to start to scale the revenue? With that, like for users, because that's really going to be the offset to those individuals earning within the move to earn.
Right. Yeah, like that's why it's a marketing expense. Like the business works if we know that we're giving out 10 grand worth of tokens a week, but we're making 100 grand a week in revenue from the shoppers, like then the business works and it's a marketing onboard to it leads to that. So you can go right now to shop.aminorewards.com. We have rolled out a soft launch in the USA only. We have more jurisdictions coming, but we just started USA. And we are having the official launch next week with some killer Black Friday deals. And really hope to see like some actually substantial amount of people shopping. We'll be blasting it everywhere, but we just are still making sure it all works, and it does. So yeah, you can use it right now if you're in the USA. In the new year, we'll probably see like Canada and Europe, India all slowly be rolled out onto the shop, but it's a very long-term thing.
No, that definitely makes sense. You know, for me, I understand like this the scaling side on the business. I always say a project really needs like once launched, probably about 6 months to a year, and that's normally on the low side to start generating volume and really scaling. So you guys have had a good time to build out the brand, but like you said, people want to see the tech working, and once it goes live and kind of you guys push through that to the next stage is when you can really, from your end, hope to start getting the growth in those tiered levels coming in. So they're not no really really cool kind of plan from your end, Drew. Now, I don't want to be bouncing around from topic to topic, so I do want to kind of focus a little bit more and go back to the Amino Move side because it aligns well with one of your early partnerships, right? Health and wellness. You guys have partnered up with the San Francisco 49ers, which I believe is like a 3-year partnership. So, how are you able to try and leverage, some of that brand strength that they bring and pull people who, if you're at a game, how many people at a stadium, at a San Francisco 49ers may be into crypto, right? So like how do you start to slowly transition and for your holders make them feel like that the value is really coming back like in from the crypto side, I guess.
Yeah, so a lot to unpack there. Yeah, it's a 3-year deal to start. I mean, we can definitely extend, but monumental deal for our business, obviously, to get a brand like that to partner with a crypto company. Obviously, FTX ruined it for a lot. Like if this was 2 years ago, be a bit easier, but it was tough and took a lot of work to get there. So first things, we've kept this very Web2 focus. So when we're doing ads with the 49ers, it's never like buy the crypto. It's not even directly talking about it. It's all like participation based. Download the Amino Move app, join this 49ers contest. Stadium ads are cool, kind of the flash thing, but what I really care about is call to actions on social channels, email blasts. That's the good stuff. That's where you see the real user growth, and then it's up to us in our funnel to bring in those users, start them out as movers, get them shopping. They don't even really need to become holders right away. If we're converting enough shoppers, this is a home run because we're literally making revenue. We are using that to buy back tokens on the open market, even on top of sustaining the rewards. We'll grow the rewards pool. So if we can build a huge business there, regardless of how many go on Uniswap or an exchange and buy the token, we're going to be successful. But it really gets fun when you educate them on crypto, give them all the options so they can redeem the points, tokens that they earn in the catalog or for experiences with the team, but also show them that they can withdraw the crypto and that they can self-custody it, teach them about crypto, have them learn how to stake and upgrade their loyalty tier so they can earn more. Like you don't even have to convert a huge amount of those because the volumes will be so big. So even if we can take a small percentage and educate them, I mean, we're going to be doing really well. But also, you can't put a price on the value of this deal. You've seen all these tokens launch over the years. So many have disappeared, and they've all these false promises. We're going to partner with the NBA. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Like, how many times have you ever actually seen it happen? We did this before launch, showed that we're the real deal. Just the reputational aspect of pulling off something like that to show how serious this is and what we're capable of, and some indication of what can come in the future is you can't put a price on that. And that's like the first thing I led with to get all these retailers on board. I mean, Walmart, for example, originally told us no for a shop. They said, you got to have a live site. You need active users. We want to see sales numbers, blah, blah, blah. And we just kept updating them. And then after we made our first NFL deal, we got Nike. Then we got Adidas. So we updated Walmart. And so we got Nike, Adidas. We have this many signups now. Now we just signed this deal with the 49ers. And eventually they're like, okay, we're in. We haven't actually added Walmart to the platform, but it should be coming pretty soon. So just huge thing for the business. It's what made it attractive. I took a ton of risks signing these NFL deals. Took a lot of heat from people who are just haters who said, like, you're an idiot, you're blowing all the money, how is this worth it? And I guess I kind of got the last laugh because a lot of people like what we're doing and there's real demand in our token. As you can see by the volume, I mean, these private sailors have exited a huge amount of money, millions of dollars in the first week or two, and we're still maintaining over 10x right now, and we haven't done a single buyback other than that first marketing stunt buyback that I talked about. So there's real demand. People know this is different. It's something like tangible proof of delivery instead of just false promises. So it really sets the tone for what we're doing.
Yeah, no, there's a couple things that you mentioned there that really stood out to me, Drew. So the first thing I wanted to kind of go back with you and circle back on was the what you mentioned with the revenue versus the token. And that model is something that I love and it's kind of like you said, the golden rule. If revenue and hopefully in your case situation, because of the shopping and the different components, if revenue can outpace the token or the fact that people maybe won't buy it or convert from the Web 2 to the Web 3 side and purchase a token, set up a wallet, you guys could still grow it and scale it because of the amount of value coming back in through the revenue generation and being assigned, back to
I,
holders. So yeah, that's phenomenal.
my number one takeaway from everything I've learned on failed projects and seeing all these hype tokens that seemed like they would go up forever and did extremely well in the early days, and then 2 months later they're totally dead and not down 99% and not showing no signs of life. Like, the number one takeaway of all that is you need a like it is possible to have a token purely on hype, but like we saw that with Floki in the early days, Shib in the early days, like they were all hype based memes. Eventually their volume starts to dry and people like, even after Elon tweets it 10 times, like it's having less and less effect, and they try to pivot to utility base, and they're doing a good job. Like Floki is crushing it with that. But that's the number one lesson. Hype always dies down. It always seems like it's going to go up forever in the early stages. Seems like the best thing ever, but you hit a point where there's just no more buyers. There's no more people coming in to keep like keeping the Ponzi going, and hype always dies. So you need that revenue generating business. And I'm a very strong believer that the best way to share the revenues legally with the holders is just through buybacks on the open market. I mean, companies do this all the time where when they feel their their stock is undervalued, they buy back. And that's the only way to make sure, like the only way I can think of that you're going to guarantee that your token is going to be around in the long run and continuously go up in price is to make a ton of money through the business and buy it yourself. Because any other person who buys on the chart, especially on a no tax token, they have to sell eventually, and they're going to. So it's not permanent. But if you can buy back millions of dollars on your own that don't get sold or get sold to add value or something, it's the only thing that works. And we're seeing there's a project, Houdini Swap, I'm involved with. They're doing it one of the best right now. They're making like 25, 30 grand a week for the past many months. And their chart shows it's just beautiful, consistent uptick. And I think that we're still early on a lot of this stuff, but I think in like years 2, 3, 4, once this really kicks in and they've locked up a lot of the supply, like that model is just going to be very obvious that that was ahead of the game, and that's the way to do it. Because most of these tokens, even if you have a utility back in the project or a utility token, your token doesn't mean squat. Like it's a lot of the time it's a real company just trying to get more liquidity and make more money. But really, like it's not like owning a stock. Owning a stock is actual ownership in the company. If the company gets sold, you get paid out. If the company is a great quarter and wants to do a dividend, you get paid out. But I think that we're going to see cryptos go more towards that, where it basically is like owning a stock, and that's really what I'm trying to do in a legal way.
Well, and you're also like you touched on the, Walmart is a great example, which is another point I wanted to bring up because you went with the model of results versus, words, right? So you guys consistently kept them updated, consistently kept them up, in the loop on some of your bigger deals, which again bring value to Web2 users, which they focus on obviously much more now. And then from the company perspective, you guys are doing a lot that you can further kind of continue to grow users without having to have a huge knowledge of crypto. Like you don't even need to own crypto to sign up for the app. You don't need to own crypto technically to earn it, but it could be like, I'll joke back and remember Facebook back in, early 2000, or I guess like early 2008, like 2009, like time frame when you could earn and like mine Bitcoin on Facebook, but people were doing it and had no idea what it was and like what the value of it could be. And then, fast forward 15, 16 years from now, and that was a thing. So it's kind of, we've seen these cycles in the past, and the lower the barrier to entry from a Web2 user standpoint, the more assistance you guys can provide once in your ecosystem. We've seen it before. It's a great recipe for success. So it does remind me of, previous examples, and, your experience obviously in the space and your connections definitely help because you need crypto is different than Web2 in a sense that there's, your holders at a board meeting would be much more respectful than somebody who's going to show up in a Telegram group. You know what I mean? So I think you guys have a great recipe here. And, looking at growth and being able to leverage users to continue growing brand partnerships, like you have a great recipe. So if you can just continue to educate when they're in there and add more value to them, they're going to not only maybe get into the token, which is again going to benefit the chart, but you're going to get that loyalty aspect, which I think is something that most people, and I would say 98.9%, maybe 99% of projects in this space miss the loyalty aspect, which if you think of any brand that sustained its repeat customers over time, they go back because they're loyal. I'll use myself with Xbox as an example. I would never buy a PlayStation, not because they're a bad system. I just love Xbox, even though it's actually not great. So like if you can get that level of loyalty into Web2 customer, it's incredible. I know I unpack a lot. I kind of think on the fly, so it's sometimes tough to deal with.
Yeah, 100%, totally agree. And like with the shareholder thing, I want to bring more of that to crypto. I plan to do like quarterly shareholder updates, or at least um, every 6 months or so, probably a lot more often than that though, where full presentation showing an inside look at the numbers that need to be shared and growth, future plans, doing it live streamed on YouTube with the whole presentation deck, having all the community come watch it, support, really get all the info, like kind of like the ultimate AMA where we just give a full open look into the books. And I haven't seen that done too much.
Yeah, that honestly would be this would be the first time I've heard of that done. I mean, maybe there's something on these high level altcoins. Maybe XRP has like board meetings or something like that, but outside of, something of that scale, a top 10, you wouldn't really see it done. So I love the mentality, very forward thinking. Now, what are you guys also doing to leverage like ambassadorship programs and the strength of just, influential people in the space? I remember early on in your growth, I saw a name like Rob Gronkowski pop up. I think I even saw like something like Clay Thompson pop up at one point, and I was just like, "Holy crap! Like, what is going on?" So, like, you guys have a very easy to market and easy to pitch to athletes kind of product.
Yeah, athletes definitely resonate with it. I can get pretty much anyone. There's obviously a few untouchables, like getting like a Drake. It's not really a money thing, or Justin Bieber. Like these guys are so rich that I mean, any amount, like paying them $5 million even to like shill a crypto, or they just won't do it. But most athletes I can get, and celebrities, I've proven that. And yeah, so in terms of ambassadors, I went more with the teams. Are talking to a lot of athletes. I have Gronk ready whenever we want him, but I'm really trying to find the recipe to do this properly and get value out of it. It is a very easy way to blow your money. I've done that before when I had them directly shilling the crypto. Like I've had paid Jake Paul hundreds of thousands and Mike Tyson's hundreds of thousands, and had them do Twitter spaces, and yeah, bring some buyers in maybe in anticipation of it, but it's not like their followers are like ready to go buy a crypto, and it never really seems to get the value out of it except for like a quick hype play. So something I've learned valuable lessons with, but we'll get ambassadors in the right way. It'll be mostly utility based, so they'll never just be like shilling saying go buy the crypto. It's all about leveraging their fan bases, getting the users onto shop or to compete against them in a fitness contest, and bring them into our ecosystem. And then we have to have the compelling product and actually convert. So those names I can get whenever and re-engage them. Couple guys I'm looking at like who are really big on TikTok and Instagram, more general tech, or just general ambassadors. But yeah, NFL players, especially NBA players, make a lot of sense for where we're going with this. And now what I'm really trying to do is get them to invest. So that's kind of what I did on the KOL side. I mean, we have only 3 or 4 KOLs in the crypto side that are actually paid. And the only reason they're paid is because they're like going so above and beyond with their time. Like we have a few community spaces that we hire hosts for that, just to like make sure that they're run properly, and it's just definitely a good bang for the buck for that. But a lot of these athletes now, especially that we're partnering with the team and just doing something that they resonate with, because it's so cool with the fitness and they get it. And I mean, these guys make so much money in their heyday. They're looking to park it. So we're starting to get NFL owners on board, like taking those meetings. We're taking meetings with a lot of top athletes to just come in as investors and put their own money into Amino and just promote it because they want to. So that'll be really cool when we start to, and it's like a domino effect. Like you get, like we've seen this on many aspects. It hasn't happened yet on the investor side, but like you get one of these top dogs, and then they tell someone, and then they tell someone else, and before you know it, like this massive athlete is investing in you. And FTX once again screwed it up a lot. I think that some of them are, because when you're dealing with very wealthy people who are making tens of millions of dollars a year and have $100 million plus, obviously they're pretty much set for life, and they just don't need to take the risk. So even if they think they can make $5-10 million on a deal like this, it's like, is it really worth it with the crypto aspect? What if this all blows up in my face? But we're doing a good job at converting them and changing the stigma around it, and getting the 49ers was a huge step to that.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, that obviously hurt, especially with them having to rename the arena down in Miami after everything that happened, and some of the lawsuits going out against some of those athletes. So it was definitely a tough time. But as we've seen, if like people are still willing to jump on board, I think they're a little bit more cautious. But if you could show them the right value up front, they're still willing, I think, to take a shot because, most people, if you ask them, although they may not understand the blockchain, they do understand there is a lot of value in the future and it's kind of where it's going. It's going to be, kind of the future of CBDCs versus crypto if you talk to most people. So, no, I love what you guys are doing. Now, I did bring up the concept of loyalty when I talked about brands, and I wanted to ask about the ambassador questions because normally people's followers or these ambassadors have a very loyal following, right? So, you guys have the ability to not have to, like you said, Drew, shill a crypto or shill a project specifically, like a meme coin. It's very tough because it does turn into more of a pump and dump narrative oftentimes. But what you're building, it could be more of a value add to that actual influencer, that actual ambassador. So, kind of transitioning from that conversation into the topic of loyalty programs, like for me, from a sales perspective, it is much less costly to work with a repeat customer than it is to sign up a new customer. Now, this is from a traditional sales perspective, but I'm assuming it's a similar model if you're running a platform, if you're working with somebody who already understands how to use it versus going out and trying to always grow your user base. So I wanted to see what you guys are doing to help with the retention side and really give max value to those individuals that do start to use the Amino shop or the Amino move programs over time.
Well, first of all, anyone can be an ambassador for Amino because we built the Refer a Friend program, which kind of went viral and helped us grow like crazy. Like if you go on YouTube and you just type in Amino Rewards or Amino Move, there's hundreds of videos of people that we didn't organize. So they're just doing it because they like it. They want to make some money and maybe thought these coins could be worth a decent chunk of change one day. So they just shield a referral link, which anyone can set up in one click, which was really cool to see. We will do some custom deals, and it's like for a big name celebrity or whatever. If we want to do something, like we can usually just pay up front, but a lot of creative ways to do it. We'll definitely do some deals over the lifetime of this where it's based on how many people they bring in. And we're always trying to find ways to engage more. Like, I mean, we have our hands full on the dev side. I'm really focused on getting the shop and catalog up and making sure Move works well. But there's a lot of stuff you can do, like fitness groups and engage these influencers and stuff. But longer term there. But yeah, I mean, loyalty is all about the perks. There's many loyalty programs. What separates one from another is the perks and what you get access to. I mean, that's why everyone want, aside from it just being baller, like an Amex Black Card, that's why most rich people want them because you get a private concierge, you can get any restaurant reservation you want, you can get special access to things that other people can't get because of their partners and what it gives you access to. And that's what, why do you want to upgrade your credit card and sign up for a better one and pay them yearly fee because the perks are better and the rewards are better. You're getting more cash back and this and that. So that's what loyalty is all about. And we're finding ways to do elevated partnerships with brands and offer max value to Amino members. So not only do you just any Amino member who signs up free, you get to participate in Amino Move and Earn, you get to do the shopping, all the other stuff we're going to introduce, and also have a chance to redeem for the exclusive experiences with the sports teams and Amino merch and stuff. And then you can upgrade your tier to get even more cash back. You get more of your percentages, more rewards. So part of the business I really want to develop and take further, but we've already signed like a big deal with Alo Yoga. If you go to alomoves.com/amino, you can see a full landing page dedicated to us where as our logo right on their website talks about a special offer for Amino members. And this is like what's really going to allow us to be the real deal. If we can sign up more multi-billion-dollar companies that everyone knows, and we already have all these convos in motion. Like for an example, imagine we make a deal with Peloton where you can link our app to Peloton's app, and now you can earn rewards for doing bike rides, or we make a big deal with Nike or Adidas and we align with one of them, and Amino members get a special discount, or like special products collabs or whatever become available, or we align with like a sports ticket, like a Ticketmaster type company, and we do some private concierge stuff, and you want Taylor Swift tickets or Super Bowl tickets, which are instantly selling for 10 times the retail price. You can get access to buy tickets at retail price, which everyone wants. So that's what it's all about. That's what my co-founder is kind of an expert in, developing these programs. And we're going to do that and just have it all powered on the blockchain in the background, very Web2 based, and leverage the benefits of blockchain, but make it very friendly for like a traditional Web2 loyalty program with epic perks.
And then like that, you gave me a phenomenal segue there, Drew, because not only like on your side, like you guys can have a lot of value through the blockchain, but what you're building, you guys can take that directly to partner brands or retailers, whatever it may be. And because of the blockchain, it may actually end up reducing their cost and actually improving their efficiency at tracking all of this at the end of the day because of the centralization, the ease of use once they understand it within the blockchain. So, it may take some time for adoption, but from a business efficiency and record keeping standpoint, is actually cost effective, which is I mean, every business at the end of the day wants to save money, so it's a pretty easy sell. It's just that education piece having to get over the hump.
Yeah, for sure. And like we're in the room for all these conversations. It's not a pipe dream for like if one of these big organizations needs help to build something blockchain or they think of an idea, I mean, we're right there already established. We can go in and help them and add to our utilities, and that's the idea. But also, traditional loyalty programs are starting to see that this is better. And when you have a point off chain, you can only redeem it within that program and for what they offer. But by doing it on blockchain with a crypto, it's unlimited utility. You can instantly convert it to USDC or Ether Cash, basically, and unlimited utilities, anything on chain, which most sites will have blockchain integrations and apps over the next 5, 10 years. So we're super early to this game. We're really the first one who's doing it like this. There are other blockchain cashback programs like a StormX or a Lolly, but they're not as customized and working with the retailers on individual levels. And there's most of them, like Lolly doesn't have a native token. StormX does, but yeah, we're gonna have better perks and just really scale it up and cool experiences only for Amino members.
No, that I can't wait to kind of see as you guys scale what types of experiences you're able to offer as well to your holders. That I think is like you mentioned the Amex Black Card. I think that's like you said that it's the stuff that you wouldn't be able to buy necessarily, or if you did, it would cost you, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50K. It's really what drives people to join into those loyalty programs oftentimes. And then you're also going to get the psychological benefit while somebody is in there. I know you guys have a few of these studies listed, within your white paper, but one of my degrees from school was in psychology on the cognitive side, and I 100% agree with the pattern that you guys are pushing, where you're much more likely to tell somebody else about it, help somebody get involved if you're a member of that loyalty program yourself, but also from a brand perspective, as you guys release, your catalog, as you guys release additional partnerships, it's often going to be those people who are first movers for you. And from a business perspective, you're going to be able to start to slowly forecast your revenue and your repeat business. And then we're talking about scaling. Well, you could take those numbers to other retailers, and it's just like you said, that domino effect that you really want to see happen over time. So exciting stuff, man. I know it's been a long time coming, but I can't wait to see kind of what the future and, like I said, those experiences look like for your
Yeah,
users. Now, sorry, go ahead.
no, I mean, yeah, thank you. Like it's gonna be a fun ride for all of us, and appreciate like everyone who's interested in supporting. I mean, we're gonna deliver a lot of really cool stuff. It's literally just getting started, but we have a great base. Some of our deals are really set the tone. Like the 49ers deal, I've many professional sports teams in my inbox trying to do this stuff with us, and getting through the token launch was a huge milestone for the company. A lot can go wrong on a token launch. Imagine, God forbid, like contract honeypots accidentally, or some vulnerability, or we just an oversight. Like high risk for a big company to do an ICO, and went flawlessly. And there was buy pressure, which is a huge bonus. We even did a migration from Uni V2 to V3 and went super smooth. So big milestone for the company. And now we can move on to the next step. And yeah, also a lot of investors, like big names, they wouldn't want to be anywhere near a token launch, regardless of how well it's structured and how legitimate it is, just because there's so many horror stories. So now it's like the ideal time to go to them now that we have 100 million plus fully diluted valuation and great thriving community. And yeah,
No, you said it yourself. You could plan everything and something could still potentially go wrong with regards to launches. And, once you find that floor or that kind of level of comfort, it's a much easier conversation with bigger players and bigger names. So, you're super experienced. So that's awesome to see. Now, there's a few things that kind of jumped out, and I mean, I've seen the tweets. I followed the Amino account, but you guys have kind of gone a little bit outside of the box here with regards to the fact that you're built on Beam. So I wanted to go a little bit into this decision behind that, Drew, and really for those maybe who aren't as familiar with it, it could be a great educational opportunity for some of our members here just to learn a little bit more about that network.
Yeah. So Beam is a network owned by Merit Circle, who's one of our big backers, which I'll get into all. But to be clear, only our app is built on Beam. You don't trade there. We're not like Beam is Avalanche. It's a subnet of
Yeah, it's
Avalanche.
similar to how like a lot of projects build their apps on Polygon, but they're an ERC20 token,
Yeah.
right?
Never like if you're just a normal crypto investor, you just buy us on Uniswap or will be Pancake Swap. I mean, you hold the ETH token. It's just the way the app is powered. But yeah, Merit Circle, really great guys. They were the first like really big fund or community that got behind us. It's no secret that last year was very hard to raise money for cryptos. No matter how promising it was very hard to get people to part with their money. I did many meetings with them, really connected with the CEO, Mark, who's a great guy. Pentoshi's also on their team, who's a good buddy of mine, and we've been in a lot of deals together. So very natural. They're gaming, so they kind of made an exception for us almost because we're not like hardcore gaming. I mean, we have the gamified aspects, but no one would call us a video game. But they love what we're doing. They saw the partnerships and they believed in us that we're going to be onboarding a lot of people and that it was a killer investment. So they wrote us our biggest check, which came in at a crucial time for the company because I was spending so aggressively on these deals, which panned out because it made our business attractive. And obviously, I got through the launch, and now we're well capitalized. But yeah, they're really great guys. You should check them out. A lot of the big influencers and KOLs are bullish on Beam. It is a higher market cap token, obviously. It's like but they're doing amazing things. A lot of people are saying that crypto gaming is going to be the next big bull run, and they are probably the best positioned with like many games under their umbrella all ready to build on Beam. Plus, they have $100 million in cash in their treasury, not like not like in holdings and tokens and stuff. They literally have $100 million in USDC, ETH, USDT, and that's all verified on chain. Last time I checked, so
That's massive.
yeah, it's crazy. And so in that sense, like they're like top, and yeah, I mean it's not so much for degens, but if you're a
Yeah,
serious,
personally, I've always been a fan of Avalanche actually. Like I've always been somebody who's been a fan of what they're trying to build. I personally think it's got a lot of liquidity. If you actually like understand like the depth of liquidity on the AVAX network, it's one of the stronger ones out there. I mean, I haven't gone as depth the last 6 months, so if it's bled out a little bit over, this market, I may be corrected, but yeah, that was always my feelings on AVAX. I do like that. So it's good to know they leverage that network as well on the back end.
yeah, so they're official partners with AVAX. It is Avalanche. They just optimized a few things like for gaming and grouping transactions and optimizing gas fees even further. But yeah, really cool what they're doing. Wasn't even a requirement for us to build on Beam. I wanted to. Right now, the app is built off chain, so we're just using like a traditional MongoDB database. And um, when you're a well, first of all, there's a lot of benefits to doing it on chain. Like the number one obstacle is the gas fees, but they're first of all they gave us a big grant to cover the gas fees because obviously they wanted us to build on Beam, and also it's very low gas fees anyways. It's basically gasless. So yeah, it's huge benefits. Like when I'm pitching crypto VCs, and that's a huge part of our business. Like I'm gonna have to raise more money to really scale this up. The idea is prove the concept, which we've already been doing, show some shopping revenues, go raise a big Series A, and scale this up and sign 10 more sports teams and bring this to 10, 15 million users and off to the races, bring in the big ambassadors, keep building out the utilities, partner with bigger shopping brands. But to do that, like you need to raise money and yeah, so it's really important if you're going to blockchain VCs, it's much more powerful. Instead of me just saying, hey, here's our user numbers. We have 3 million signups and 150,000 active a day. Like that's one thing. It's another thing to say we have 600,000 active wallets last month and we're doing 80,000 transactions a day. And that like it's much more powerful, and that's what people want to see. Now I'm talking wallets and transactions instead of just users, and it's
Yeah,
verifiable proof on chain.
they definitely want that quantitative data. That's not a lie. But oh, Discord is always weird with my mute button. Sorry about that. I never know when it's on or off. I wanted to jump into a little bit about like what you envision maybe with regards to support of, you know, health and wellness startups. Is like this something that you guys may look to go the route in the future from like more of an investment to help foster growth of brands that like align with what Amino's doing and again could further add something unique and outside the box for your perks and for your loyalty programs?
Yes. So with like the original Fitcoin, which is what Amino was called when it was just moved to Earn, the plan in the back of our heads was like start with move to earn, raise a bunch of money from the engagement, and then be kind of like a crypto fitness fund and like go out because I've personally never really seen, especially in this market cap level. I mean, if you're multi billions, yeah, there are acquisitions that happen, but I've never seen like a sub 100 million market cap token go out and acquire a real Web2 business and announce that and integrate their token into it, which is super cool and very like intriguing to me. And just like not even to flex, but like just to show we're the real deal. I mean, to pull off a deal like that, it just once again reinforces that we're just on another level than all these other teams in the similar market cap range, and what we're doing is just different. So would love to do that. Have the I mean, I have experience doing deals, and some of my co-founders, like every single one on my core team pretty much has started, sold a business, a lot of acquisitions in there. So we're built to do that. And I mean, it has to be the right opportunities, and probably too early, but those opportunities will come up, and we will be adding like acquiring health fitness apps, and who knows how big we can get. And that's like a crazy way to grow. And I can't imagine how hyped the community would be to learn that we were like acquiring a business that people actually knew about. It would be ideal, and converting it to Web3 and integrating it as part of our program. And I mean, also you can buy other loyalty programs and eat up their members too. Like it's at the end of the day, loyalty programs, that's where most of the value is. Obviously the partnerships and how it all works, but the user number is really important. Like if you have like a 50 million plus person loyalty program, I mean, that's worth stupid amount of money. And we've seen those acquisitions happen. So
Yeah, I used to work with Bond Brand Loyalty back in the day as one of my bigger clients, and I always used to love talking to them. Just really cool, just picking their brain on like market value and stuff. Yeah, Bond
Bob
Brand.
in Toronto,
Yeah, yeah. I used to
Bob,
work with them pretty
Bob,
closely. I knew their CFO.
Bob McDonald.
No, it was her name was Kevin's wife. What the hell was her name?
Okay. Anyways, yeah, no, they're good guys. I know them.
Let me
I
see.
pitched them Amino in the early days. They kind of want to help it. It didn't turn into anything, but I know them well.
Yeah, no, I my old mentor from university is their director of partnership loyalty. So like that's kind of how I got it in with them when I used to work in business development and sales back in the day.
So they
But yeah, no. Oh,
pretty
sorry,
big.
go ahead, Drew.
It's like they like help like Tim Hortons with
Oh
events.
yeah.
Like they basically just get hired on loyalty, and they have like millions of people in their database. They do a lot of loyalty stats, and yeah, they
Yeah, they
I've
used to run the Air Canada one back in the day, like that big the Air Canada rewards program. What
I
else
kind
did they
of want to
do?
do stuff like that, but on a global scale, not just Canada.
Yeah,
But
no, again, that's really cool
the
to know you've
biggest
even had those conversations because they are one of the top and not just in Canada, they're awesome. So yeah, you guys are honestly really impressive, man. Like just to see some of the case studies you have, the names that you thrown out, just like again, I'm not somebody who gets like wowed by the flash, but it's listening to the depth behind the flash that is impressive with you and like the project here. You guys have, you mentioned Floki, you're partnered with them. You guys have a partnership with, another project that pushed like 185 million today, Pal AI. I know they're helping you out with some stuff on the back end. So again, your network and
support over there is just really, really impressive. And it's a long time coming, but it's not really, if you think about like the vision and everything we've listened to and listed out today, like this is very much a serious, like long-term project that's just kind of getting started.
Yeah, no, appreciate that. So, a couple things quickly to touch on. I mean, we're probably coming to close to wrapping this up, right? But yeah, so we're partnered with Floki, Pal, Baby Doge. I went after Baby Doge and Floki specifically, the two of the biggest meme communities I could actually get to, because it wasn't really realistic to go like partner with Shiba Inu. I mean, it's kind of a crap show there right now with what they're trying to do, and also like the Doge Foundation or whatever. I mean, that I don't have any connections there, but and Pepe doesn't do partnerships. So Floki and Baby Doge, I mean, the Floki guys, both teams are great. They've been helping us tremendously, like actually getting involved. But the idea is to be like more loyalty infrastructure. So you can be a Floki community member, even if you aren't an Amino holder or bullish on like Amino itself as a product. You can just go to the fitness app and you can toggle your rewards and earn them in Floki. If you want to do your shopping, you can go shop at Nike and earn Floki, which is huge demand for that. I mean, everyone shops at these retailers. Why not just click our link and go earn the crypto of your choice? So, huge opportunity there. And yeah, just like on the real life connection stuff. So my co-founder Bruce, he's the king of loyalty. I mentioned this many times, but it's important because I couldn't do this without him. So the biggest loyalty program in Canada was Air Miles. Now it got taken over by Aeroplan, because Aeroplan came in and did some cool partnerships with like Uber and Starbucks, and like that's all extensions of their program now, and you can use your points there and earn there, like really cool stuff, which is inspiring. But Bruce is like a paid advisor to Air Miles. That's how connected he is. He's also a paid advisor to the New York Islanders on fan loyalty and engagement. So it's like really serious business people behind this, but who've been in loyalty for like 30 plus years and know everything, know everyone. That's how these connections were available to us, and I'm handling the crypto connections and have kind of impressed with these huge deals and brought them over to crypto to make people say, "Holy crap! Like this is something different. I want to be involved with this." And once we get going, I mean, I know for a fact it's a lot harder to make a deal with the NFL than some of these big crypto companies like the exchanges and stuff. So that will come too.
No, that's incredible. And there was one thing, and I would have kicked myself, Drew, if I let you go without getting the specifics, because you mentioned earlier that an individual could go and upgrade their loyalty tier within the program that you guys have. And I just wanted to cover off, on the stream, what it would take or what somebody has to do to go through that process of upgrading, maybe from a tier 3 to a tier 1 or vice versa, depending on the levels.
So it's not like a time-based staking. At least that's not the plan yet. As I said, nothing set in stone. Nothing I say is permanent. We could very well realize that it has to be a time-based staking or switch it or adjust it. But the plan, at least, is to convert as many earners as possible to holders. So even if it's a very small attainable amount, like buy $10 worth of Amino, which I think most people could buy $10, and it's going to be just be a no-brainer. Like if you're already earning and using the app and enjoying it, buy $10 worth of the token, stake it in the pool, and it's basically just like locking it up, put like in this pool, basically sending it to our wallet, but we track it all through the front end, and then right away you become Amino Blue, and you'll get like 3 times rewards for as long as you have your qualified amount locked up there. And then to go to the next one, Amino Gold, be a bit more expensive, probably 100, $200 worth of tokens, but we'll try to make it worthwhile if you're shopping and um, other perks. And then we'll have like Amino Black, which is like your black card, and that'll be like the ultra premium program where you can get access to like a private concierge type thing as we build that out, and 10 times your rewards and special deals and first priority and all this stuff. We also do plan to one day introduce debit card and credit card, where you probably virtual, but you can just pay with any crypto and earn Amino just on the interchange fees. We'll just split those with you in the form of Amino, or you can actually spend your Amino coins anywhere, which is huge, because then you can go full circle. You can earn and then actually spend at all these retailers or in real life.
And that's kind of the dream, right? Is if you're able to keep the rewards, yeah, they're maybe getting utilized or sold, but the revenue, like the usage of them, if they're staying in the ecosystem versus being sold on a chart, is so much more beneficial to what you guys are doing there. So, like that's really the if you're able to accomplish that, that's the ultimate recipe for like a
Oh,
longer term project, right? So I love that you guys already have the plan in place. Now it's just kind of running it, executing
already
it, and growing,
already
and yeah.
already built. Like we already built the loyalty staking. It's just priority list of because there's testing involved. I mean, we have a lot of users. We can't have something roll out and there's issues while we're trying to do too many things. So yeah, I'm heavily against staking to earn more tokens and yield. I think it's very gimmicky. I think that it's mostly for meme coins who can't really think of other utilities. There are smart ways to do it, and I like these rev share models that you're seeing now, like on PAL, where you stake your tokens and then you split the profits. I personally think it would be better just to let the market do its thing for the long term and just use the revenues to buy back tokens, but I get why they do it. I think it's second best. It's still very good, but I'm not a big fan of just locking up and basically incentivizing you not to sell. Like I'm a big believer that any serious project that's here for the long term, that's going to come bite them in the ass. I've got this feedback. I've made the mistake myself on Dream in the early days. We had these big staking pools, and it basically just gave all these big holders who were holding anyways 30% more tokens. So just adds
I
more
saw
sell
the
pressure.
same thing happen with like Quint as well. Like bigger projects that are attracting bigger investors and larger holders, which you guys are obviously trying to cater and scale towards that. It does. I 100% agree with you, man. Like it almost
Yeah.
handicap project over long term, because you'll have people like, if you're a larger investor, you're often somebody who comes from like the stock market or more of a traditional method. And for that like for that side of the equation, I always joke 6 months is like a short term investment in the stock markets a lot of the time. But in this space, there's someone's like, bro, you held your bag for 6 months. You're a Chad. And you're like, what? Like it doesn't really compute to like the real world or web 2 space that you guys are kind of trying to cater the project to. So no, just think it's, really done smart in that sense. And it does,
I
you
love
hit the nail on the
loyalty.
head.
Utility based staking makes a ton of sense if you can have a really good product that people actually want to upgrade instead of like in-app purchases. Basically that makes a lot of sense to me, and that's what we're going with. Like who knows how it'll work out. I think it makes a lot of sense and will work, and it's no different than like paying a yearly fee to upgrade your credit card, like that example I gave. But this is better because it doesn't cost you anything. They're your tokens, and you can exit whenever you want. Like if you want, if you get sick of the app or you just for whatever reason need your money back, like you just pull it from the pool and you can exit. You'll just lose your status. So we'll see how it goes. Super excited to get all this implemented. Gonna Most of this stuff will be released like before the new year. Over the next month and a half, we'll really get a lot of this stuff rolled out, and then I would say in the new year's really we're gonna take it kind of global with the shopping and scale it up and put in the big ambassadors and stuff. So yeah, it's gonna be a really fun 2024 for sure. Also, been very transparent about the private sale the whole time. 20% of those coins have already been released. Most people have sold. Over 70%, I think, have been sold. And yeah, so it's going to be a slow release. There's 3 month cliff. So if you come and become an Amino holder right now, you don't need to worry about private sailors receiving more tokens and selling them right away or anything, because there's no more tokens released for the next 2.5 months. And then after that, they start to release by the block. So just a consistent slow sell pressure, but I figured it was the best way rather than just like set unlock times where you always see a dump. And definitely we'll be fighting that for a few months as those tokens release, but I think we're really built for the long term and have a good plan to combat it. And I think, yeah, definitely an exciting project to be in. So appreciate you doing the interview, taking the time. Any last questions before I log off here?
Yeah, no, again, I wanted to say thanks so much, Drew. I know we've crossed paths a few times, and it's always a pleasure. Again, you're one of the, very very professional people I've come across the space, well spoken. And again, your vision clear cut, makes sense. What I've heard, what you've laid out, I although understand requires time to, adopt and grow and scale. You guys have definitely had all of those conversations in the earlier stages that you want to hear, those founders having. So, and you've also kind of kicked the tires on what may need to happen if scaling happens, too quickly. So from my side of things, just phenomenal presentation. I'm really excited to have finally had the chance to learn about Amino live because I've been hearing about it from Landon since spring of last year. So, it really, really impressive, man. And like you said early on, I definitely more impressed now that I've had the chance to, speak to you and listen to, the
Yeah,
vision
thanks.
behind the project. I know Caesar wanted to throw a couple questions or maybe a few words over to you, so I will give him last word. But from my end, just one final thanks, and you killed it. That's all I
Yeah.
got.
And also thanks to Landon, he did take a lot of heat. I mean, I showed Landon this whole world and got him into crypto, but so he'll always support me. But I told him about Bitcoin in the early days. He loved it and got a lot of people in, and a lot of the KOLs too. And they kind of he took some heat along the way as we delayed and delayed, and he would just kind of blindly tell them like, trust Drew, he's going to pull this off, like keep your money in. And I think he took a lot of questions too. So yeah, thanks to him for supporting.
Yeah, I'm the same with Caesar. Like he got me into space, and without him, like I probably wouldn't have looked at crypto as seriously as I did. And that guy takes a lot of heat for just standing up for what's right sometimes. So I'll always go to bat for him as well. Gotta have people like that in your corner, man. It's a tough space. So respect to Landon. But yeah, Caesar, take it over, man.
Yeah, bro. I mean, this has been a great presentation so far, so I'm not going to ask you any questions or anything like that. Just going to give you a few words here. But first off, I didn't realize you're 30. That makes me older than you. You just seem like so mature and great behind the mic. It's kind of impressive, but a little bit intimidating as well. You were just talking about Landon and the refunds and stuff like that. I mean, I'm sure you could tell I never asked you guys for my refund. I never said, "Hey, when's this launching? Why is there all these delays?" And that's just because I've seen what great work you've done. I saw Houdini Swap and how you were involved in that. I saw Dream, and I was really sad I skipped out on Dream, either promoting it or just buying in. But obviously you earned my respect. I never really doubted my bag. I didn't realize it would shoot up this quickly right off launch, and that's a great thing for me, obviously. But you know, any person that was giving you any sort of slack, I mean, it's kind of understandable, but not really at the same time. Just look at the work you've done. I realized early on how much more serious it was gonna get once you said like you had to give up your channel because of certain partnerships, and I was just like, wow, this is like this is like his end game, man. This is huge. So that's why I never really had the doubt. And anyone who did, I'd probably argue that they shouldn't have. But yeah, I think your product's great. I think you guys can get a lot of normies in there, and any project that's able to get, a lot of normies believing in crypto and investing in crypto, I think is so huge for the space. I mean, so good luck with that. I hope you do a good job of that. And we just wanted to bring you on for the AMA because, I supported it after launch, after the dip came. I said, you know what? Any big dips on Amino, you should be buying. People who listened are probably really happy right now. But we just wanted the AMA because, it's just easy to find. It's like you want to go see our Amino AMA, go to our YouTube, click on AMAs, and then there it is right there. Instead of just having like voice recordings that you need to keep handy on your computer and stuff. So, uh,
Yeah, no, I
yeah,
appreciate the words, bro. I appreciate you. Yeah, thank you for just trusting and not really bugging about. And I totally get it too. I mean, I mentioned the refund option was open, so I don't really like if anyone complained, it's just probably because they're pissed about something else or frustrated with how the rest of the market's going or their other holdings, and we're kind of banking on Amino to launch quicker so they can get some liquidity back or thought it would do well short term. And I mean, obviously, I dealt with a lot of trolls and people, but I mean, it's my life on the line, so it would have been a huge mistake. I think I proved that I did it properly, and yeah, we're in a really strong position now. So it's going to be super fun, and obviously, it's still very much in its infancy for this project, and we just hit our 2 week anniversary and are really just getting started. And it's really not too late to join and come along for the ride. And a bet on us is kind of like a bet on crypto and adoption because I'm not going to stop working. we already have the partnerships at the biggest levels. And if there's a project that's gonna, like, first of all, if there's like a sports related project that's doing it properly, I personally hate fan tokens. I think they're totally worthless. I mean, SAS, we're already partnered with 49ers, like I have NBA teams, other NFL teams in my inbox. We're in huge conversations to work with other sports leagues, and we will eventually go to Europe and soccer. So if you want to bet on sports and crypto, it's us. And onboarding sports fans and adoption, I mean, we're definitely at the forefront and prepared to do that. So
That's why I think a lot of people, especially these bigger market cap, longer term plays, they have something to learn. Even just community members, because if they see how you run the project, I mean, people are bitching about like, let's get a call or we need some volume or it's on a dip, and you're just like not worried about it at all. I think that's a very valuable thing people need to learn. And when I see a team doing something like you do, it's very bullish. They're not worried about short-term hype. They're not worried about, the stupid smaller things. They're thinking big picture, and that's a thing a lot of teams need to do in this space if they're actually serious about their projects.
yeah, 100%. I mean, you have to do that stuff on a meme or weak utility because, like, it's all you have, right? Like, you got to generate the interest and tax money and keep people holding. But it's not my first rodeo. I've made the mistakes before. Like, I'll tell a quick story about Dream. Launched it. It was a different concept. I pivoted it into an incubator and fund, and it's really attractive now. And we have a huge treasury. But in the early days, it was supposed to be like a crypto that followed the stock market hours. Total experiment, had some interest. I mean, Mike Tyson was on board, and we went like we skyrocketed. We launched the token at 2 million FDV. It went 60 million by day two. Everyone thought it was going to be the next big thing. It wasn't, and corrected like everything else. And the amount of heat I took and people in my DMs and just constantly pressuring me, like, you got to get the price up, you got to do this, you got to get this caller. And I listened because I don't know, I panicked. I wasn't as experienced. It was really like my first time running a big project all on my own. And I kid you not, I must have blown $2.5 million probably of like our tax money and like literally every dollar we had because we had a big tax and we ate a lot of tax from the bots early on and we just spent like maniacs to try to recover the price. And I did crazy buybacks and um, paid Jake Paul 300 grand to come do an AMA thinking that that would like be good for the project long term. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. The good news is I actually learned from it and it's a shitload of money and kind of makes me sick, but at the same time, it's not a lot of money when you see what Amino could potentially do. And in the grand scheme of things, considering I'm only 30, I'm happy I learned the lesson now and didn't blow tens of millions doing stupid crap. But yeah, it all resulted spending all that money, just gave people who were planning to sell anyways and didn't believe in the product because it wasn't that good at the time, just gave them a better exit. And we ended up going all the way from 60 million down to back down to 3 million at some point as I just spent all this money on every promo caller, like so desperate, like paying whale groups to try to promote me and building all these worthless utilities and paying huge debt bills. And it was just a really valuable experience. And now I just know like you got to put the time in, be confident in what you're building. Investors are always going to come and go. You got to find your base. Like, no matter how good your project is, no matter how many deals you sign or how promising it is, there's always going to be people with short term mentality. You're going to have terrible days where the token drops 30-40%. There's nothing you can do about it. You just got to not panic and like just stick with it. And just as fast as it like goes down or whatever, one tweet and it can change things or one announcement that people like. So just sticking with that, and I think we're gonna get there if we keep doing it.
Awesome, bro. That was a nice little locker room speech there for all the devs out there.
Nobody has a crystal ball or knows what the future holds, but you guys have set a good stage and built a good platform out from the early stages, man. So again, it's exciting, and hopefully we get to have this conversation, a couple months, a year from now, and look back at everything you've accomplished, over the last year, and look forward to 2025 and what the new year brings then.
All right, guys.
All right,
I'm
take
gonna
care,
run.
man. Thanks for coming.